What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to get back to work on the STI today. Yesterday we got a ton of progress made on the driver's side. Let's go check that out. We picked up a new welder yesterday and we got everything welded up. It's not very pretty looking because the previous owner didn't do the best job in the world with cutting stuff out. So we had to work with what we had and this is how it ended up. So it's decent, it's definitely doable. It's all welded, seam sealed. And now we need to fix the passenger side. This side's gonna turn out better, quite a bit cleaner of a cut. I feel like everything that was done on the passenger side by the previous owner or whoever put the wide body kit on was done better than what they did on the driver's side, front and rear. If you wanna see exactly what we did yesterday, go check out yesterday's video. I'm just gonna run a quick time lapse, get this whole thing knocked out, and we can move on with this project. All right, guys, we are all finished up with the quarter panels on this car. They turned out good. They definitely could have been better if we had more material to work with, but like I said, they turned out good. Definitely not gonna leak at all. We should be good there. We need to go run some errands. I'm gonna head down to the paint store. We have some bumper stuff to paint, and then I decided on attempting the hidden hardware. So basically what we need to do, let me grab a little bolt here. We need to grab some panel bond because we need to, why are these holes so offset? I might have to fiberglass and redo some of these holes because they're quite a bit offset, but we'll figure that out later. We need to panel bond in these bolts. We're probably gonna have to shave some of the heads off and then fill over it. And from what I understand, panel bond, I think 3M makes it is the best thing for that. So we need to get panel bond, maybe a little bit of filler. I need to get paint for that rear bumper. I might need to do some paint work on that front bumper. Everything's gonna be wrapped anyway, but that rear bumper is completely destroyed. There's paint flaking off everywhere, so I'll probably just fully respray that and maybe grab a few other things as well. I'm gonna whip the Evo 10 today. I really wanna start driving the S2K again, but I need to do a few little things on it before we take this thing back out. And then I still have to register the Supra. Let's go whip the Evo 10 down to the paint store and grab some goodies. All right, let's run through what we just picked up at the paint store. I didn't end up grabbing paint. This is actually Obsidian Black Pearl is the color code on this car. We had a 06 STI. What was that, like a year and a half ago? Obsidian Black Pearl that we sprayed a bunch of pieces on. Pretty sure I have a ton of leftover paint from that project. I'll have to check later on. We grabbed some 40 grit sandpaper. We grabbed a gun. Okay, that's a dual, what would they call that? That's like a dual caulking gun to go along with this very expensive 3M panel bond. And then to top it off, we grabbed some Everglass short strand fiberglass body filler. Now this is something I've never done before, and to be honest, I don't think we may not get around to doing the actual complete hidden hardware project today because we had to weld up that other fender and that took a while. I'm gonna be going off my buddy Derek's tutorial. I'll link it up in the top right hand corner. He has a good tutorial on how to do this hidden hardware. Figured I'd give him a shout out because he is the one who inspired this idea for this project. Before we get around to doing any of that, we need to get everything with this wide body kit fitting properly. First thing we need to do is peel off all the wrap. All of this wrap has got to come off. I got one panel already finished up. This panel right here, wrap comes off pretty easy, so we have a few panels left. Let's get all of that wrap ripped off, and then we can move on to getting everything fitted up. As you guys remember, the kit did not fit very well. I think it's gonna fit really nice when we're done with it, but right out of the gate, pulling it off the car, definitely some fitment issues. So if you were to go on the MNT Writer website and order a kit, this is probably how it would look when it shows up. All of the wrap is removed. Let's see what we can do about getting this thing to fit mint. Is it Mint Writer? It might be Mint Writer. To get warmed up, I'm gonna start with the fronts. Fronts should be easy-ish. One thing that we're gonna have to do, being that we are doing the hidden hardware, so basically when we install the kit, we're gonna have to reach back here and thread a nut onto the stud. But we need to pull out all of these riv nuts right here. Get all those riv nuts off. We're gonna have to get all of the sealant off. I'm really curious to see how this kit is gonna fit with none of this sealant on there. And hopefully I can get the sealant off without destroying the wrap, because I don't wanna rewrap the whole car if I don't have to. All right, we're working on the first fender right now. Like I said earlier, I was really curious to see how these are gonna fit. From about here forward, it's nice and flush with the fender. When bolted down, it'll look mint. From here to here, definitely needs some work. Pretty decent sized gap right there. And then of course back here, this is the main thing that I was worried about. We need to do something here. I'm not sure if we're gonna have to add a lip onto this fiberglass here or what we need to do, but I am not really okay with all that. First thing I want to do is try and fix this gap. I'm going to use some heat. I got my heat gun out, so let's apply some heat right here. Of course, when it's bolted down, it's going to be a little bit better, but even applying pressure there, we still got a gap. So I'm going to try to get that gap closed as best as possible with just some heat. Even though this is fiberglass, heat may allow it to move enough. All right, as you guys can see now, if we put pressure on there, acting like we have a bolt in there, gap is way smaller now. I'm gonna shave a little bit right here, and that should take care of that little gap we have left, and hopefully suck this in right here as well. So I'm gonna grab a marker, mark that area, just shave it off a tiny bit, and then go from there. Still a tiny gap, but compared to what it was before, it's immaculate. I think that fits good. Now let's move on to the lower section. I think I got a pretty good solution, or a pretty good idea of what to do. So of course we're gonna have that bolt in. It's just hard to get to right now, so I don't wanna get to it. If we have that bolt in there, bolt in down there on the skirt, and if we throw in a bolt right here, look at the gap. The gap gets much better. We could open it up a little bit down there, just filing a tiny bit off, but man, that fits better than the rally backer if we did that. Of course, there's no hole down here. So what we'd have to do is just shave down like an Allen head or something, just so there's a tiny head on it. And we would just use that epoxy, that 3M epoxy, stick it right to the back of this panel, throw it out on the back side, and it'll suck that gap right up. So I think that's the plan. Overall, really happy with how this side is fitting. I don't think you should ever expect a wide body kit to fit perfect right out the gate. We did the rally backer on the FRS, and it took quite a bit of work as well to get it to fit really nice. Overall, I'm excited. I'm happy so far. We have a ton more panels to fit. Front fenders are definitely going to be easier than the rears. We need to address another issue that we're going to have with this hidden hardware. So being that we're not going to have access to the head of the bolt, there's just going to be literally a stud coming out the back. We need to be able to have somewhat easy access to the back side of that bolt. All of these up here, really easy to get to. You just reach your hand up there. The problem that we're gonna have is this one down here. Really hard to access from the front, from the bottom. We have the skirt. So really the only option is to drill a somewhat decent sized hole. And I know it freaking sucks, but I think it's gonna be well worth it in the end. But we're gonna have to drill a somewhat decent sized hole in the bottom of the side skirt so we can have access to that stud to get a nut on to the stud that we're gonna have right here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna drill the hole real quick just so we can get everything mounted up. Man, I'm actually really excited with how this is fitting. So yeah, let's get a hole saw out, get that hole popped in there big enough to where we can get a nut on the backside. We just got it to fit a little bit better, and we will not even have to add that stud back there. Acting like that's bolted in, here's how this door line looks. The biggest key factor in making that perfect, we added in a bolt right here. It's hard to see. I have a little black spacer in there because the gap from that panel to that little metal brace there was quite a bit. So we threw in like a 1-inch spacer, and that literally fixed everything down here. I'm gonna call that a day on this fender right here. That is freaking perfect, spot on. We got our hole drilled back there for access to the stud. This fender is ready for the next step. One panel down, lots to go. Let's do some quick mocking on the driver's side. If you've been following the build, you know that this fender was completely lopped off by the previous owner. So I'm not sure if this fender is gonna be usable or not. We may just have to pick up a replacement, but let's go ahead and give it a shot, see what we can figure out. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and replace the fender. Couple things, there's no structure or like no rigidity to it. So if it's bolted on up here, we have no way to control the whole gap. And then second thing, where we added that bolt from the bottom on the passenger side, we connected it from the over fender to the actual metal fender itself. This part is completely lopped off, so we would have no way of doing that. Tomorrow I'm just gonna run down and grab just an OEM replacement fender, some sort of aftermarket fender, and hopefully it fits decently. We should be able to get that situated tomorrow. Let's move on to the rear. This is gonna be the biggest nightmare. I do need to go ahead and get the rear bumper mocked up because we have a new one on the wall over there. So let's pull this stock one off, get the new rear bumper on. We need to cut it for the wide body and make sure the rear wide body pieces fit the bumper. And if they don't, then we're gonna have to make them fit. That rear crash beam is in the way just like it was on the front. We're gonna have to go and pull that guy off. What the fuck? Oh my lord. So the dude I got this bumper from said he test fitted it on his hatch and he said it fit really well. I don't know what the hell is going on here. This is most certainly the shittiest fitting panel or bumper I've ever seen in my life.
It just looks a little sus.
It is.
Hella sus.
Think I can get it to work?
Yep.
We definitely don't have time tonight to try and get this thing to fit, so I'm gonna just pull the bumper back off, set it aside. If we decide to use it, cool. It'd be nice to get it to work because I paid money for it. But if not, we can always put the OEM bumper back on. I do like how this bumper looks. It's got the nice little vents on the side right there. That whole diffuser, so from right here across back down that side, that whole diffuser section would be black, which I think would look really nice. But this is going to definitely take a lot to get to fit because yeah, she's way off. Beautiful. What the fuck is this? Bobby, I can fit my whole head in there.
You can fit your PP in there.
Oh. It's currently 10:15 p.m. We don't have a lot of time, so I know the driver's side was a bit rough on the quarter panel fitment. Passenger side was better, so let's go work on that side. So all of this RTV that they have on here to seal the wide body, we're having to use a reducer to get it off. And I'm noticing it's dulling or fading the wrap a little bit. So I'm trying to keep it underneath where the wide body panel sits. This quarter panel would be a lot to rewrap. So word of advice, don't use gasket maker or whatever the hell this is. They make an actual rubber seal that you can put on your wide body. That works really good and it has the same effect or the same look. This stuff is a pain in the ass. Quick mock-up on the passenger rear. Gap right here by the gas lid is a little bit big, so we actually might have to add in material right here onto the actual fiberglass panel itself. But other than that, it fits really, really nice. Gap up there solid. Coming down through the door, not so bad. A little bit of a gap right there. We can easily modify and fix up. And then where it goes onto the skirt, still hard to tell because we have that stupid RTV on here that we have to peel off. And just like that, Bobby has set a timer on me and my life, and I'm out of time for the day.
Gotta go home and eat our healthy ice cream.
It is now 10:30 p.m. so I need to clean up the shop, and we're gonna finish this, hopefully this complete wide body tomorrow. It'd be nice to get all of the hardware on and potentially start rewrapping all the pieces tomorrow. I think it's doable. I think it's possible if we get to the shop early enough. We should be good. Finish this thing up. Bobby, stop picking your nose. I can see you through the window.
I'm not picking my nose. Are you shitting me? I wasn't picking my nose.
Oh, are you doing itching it?
That's what I was doing.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow.